There is a presidential mechanism called the Reorganization Plan. It appears in no law any Congress passed, and it has existed since 1939. The Environmental Protection Agency was built by one. The Office of Management and Budget was built by another. Neither was voted on. Both have held legal authority over your life for more than 50 years. Here is what it literally is. Under the Reorganization Act of 1939, a statute you have almost certainly never encountered, the president can rearrange, merge, abolish, and create federal agencies by submitting a document to Congress called a reorganization plan. That plan takes effect automatically. Congress has a window to object. If it does not act, the plan becomes law without a single bill debated, amended, or signed. It is not an executive order. It is not a regulation. It is older and quieter than either. It carries the full force of federal statute. It gets codified into the United States Code, and it governs the agencies that govern you. How did this come to exist? In 1939, Franklin Roosevelt needed to consolidate a federal government that had sprawled during the New Deal. Congress was resistant. So rather than fight bill by bill, Roosevelt's administration drafted the Reorganization Act, a law that delegated the reorganizing power to the president himself. Congress passed that delegation once, and by passing it once, it handed over the authority to reshape the executive branch on an ongoing basis. The first reorganization plan took effect that same year, folding the executive office of the president into formal existence. No separate vote. No public hearing specific to the change. A plan was submitted, the clock ran, and the structure of American government was different. What makes this the part that changes how you understand everything that comes after? The Reorganization Act has been renewed and expanded by every Congress since. It has never been repealed. Who controls it now? The answer should make you pause. The modern Reorganization Act, last substantially amended in 1984, sits in Title V of the United States Code, Sections 901 through 912. It grants the sitting president authority to submit reorganization plans whenever he chooses. The catch the framers believed would protect against abuse was the legislative veto. Congress could reject a plan with a single-chamber vote. Then, in 1983, the Supreme Court decided INS versus Chadha. The legislative veto was unconstitutional, and when that protection disappeared, the reorganization power did not disappear with it. It became larger. This is where the power becomes concrete. Remember, no one voted for this. Richard Nixon submitted Reorganization Plan No. 3 on July 9, 1970. It transferred pollution control functions from 6 separate agencies into a single new body. That body was given a name, a budget and enforcement authority over every manufacturer, power plant, water system, and farm in the country. It began operating December 2, 1970. Nobody in Congress voted to create it. Nobody voted on its jurisdiction. Nobody voted on what it could fine you, shut down, or compel. The Environmental Protection Agency came into existence because a clock ran out. The same mechanism built the Office of Management and Budget, which now controls every agency's budget request before Congress ever sees it. The same mechanism reorganized the intelligence community after World War II, placing functions under the National Security Council before the CIA itself was formally chartered. Agency after agency, power after power structured by plans that required no majority, no debate, no conference committee, no bill. And here is the part that should actually worry you. It is completely legal. The Supreme Court has reviewed the Reorganization Act. It has found no constitutional violation. The mechanism is not a loophole. It is a door left open deliberately. The structural lock is this. A reorganization plan, once effective, is codified into the United States Code as if it were a statute. To undo it, Congress must pass new legislation, both chambers, a conference, a presidential signature, or a veto override. That means the president who benefits from the reorganization power has functional veto authority over any attempt to narrow it. Beyond that, Every agency built on a reorganization plan has accumulated decades of regulations, enforcement actions, and appropriations. Unwinding one would require simultaneously amending thousands of regulatory citations across dozens of agencies. No one has successfully repealed a major reorganization plan once its agency became operational. Not once. The architecture is designed to be permanent at the moment it activates. What this means about every institution around it is this. If the president can reorganize the executive branch without a vote, then the structure of the government you see is not what Congress designed. It is the cumulative output of plans filed and allowed to expire into law. The agency that enforces clean air rules over your city was built this way. The office that controls what budget numbers Congress is allowed to see was built this way. The framework of the modern administrative state, the one that issues rules you are required to obey, that can fine your business, revoke your license, deny your permit, was assembled piece by a mechanism most Americans have never heard the name of. If one statute, passed once in 1939, could hand a president the power to build agencies that cannot be unbuilt, what other delegations, sitting quietly in Title V, are waiting to be used? What has already been filed that you have not been told about?